Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Michelle with Alaska Rural Homestead, and today I'm going to be sharing a super easy recipe with you. We're going to be making our sourdough French bread. And in the previous video I went ahead and showed you how to make a potato sourdough starter, because we do grow a lot of potatoes on our homestead and I wanted to share that with you. So I'm really excited that you are here today and you're going to be making French bread with us. And I know you're just going to love it. And we're also going to be using some of my herbs that I grow on the homestead. And I'm going to be making a cheesy kind of garlic loaf with that also. So let's get started, huh? Okay, so the herbs that I'm going to be putting into the spread for my French garlic bread, I'm going to be using nasturtiums today that I've dried, and then I've got some celery leaves here, and then I've got some thyme here. I've also got rosemary, some dried garlic, and dried onions. And I just get this blended up into the blender, and then we're going to mix this with a little bit of Parmesan cheese and some butter, and we're going to spread it on our French bread. So it's going to be super delicious. Okay, so we're going to need 4 to 5 cups of flour. And this is just regular, organic, unbleached flour. And we're going to start with 4 cups right now. All right, so there is 4 cups. Then we're also going to need a teaspoon and a half of salt. So I've got 1.5 cups of water here. Now we need 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And we're just going to add this to our water. Just going to go ahead and get this mixed and let it set for a minute so the yeast will start dissolving. And you want to make sure that your yeast is bubbling, and then you know it's ready to use. Okay, so we're just going to let that set a minute. Now we're also going to need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And the baking soda is going to help break down that gluten even more and give a nice fluffy texture to your French bread. And we're also going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now we're just going to go ahead and get this mixed up. Now I'm going to go ahead and just make a little well into our flour. And I'm going to add our flour and yeast mixture. Now I'm going to go ahead and add 1 cup of our starter. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and add that. Just get this mixed really good without making a mess. All right, we got that mixed up, and I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on here. Now I'm just gonna dump this on here. All right, so we're just gonna knead this a few times. You might have to add a little more flour. Make sure that you flour your surface generously, because this can be a little sticky, but I promise you it will be good. All right, so I got the bowls sprayed here. Now I'm just gonna let this rest for about an hour for it to rise and double. And I'm just gonna use a tea towel to cover this. And you wanna make sure that you put it in a nice area where it's not drafty or anything like that. So just in a nice warm area. So while that's rising, I went ahead and started preheating my oven to about 400. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get this mixture with the herbs and cheese. We're gonna go ahead and get this ready for our French bread. I just have about maybe a 1/4 cup of melted butter in here, unsalted butter. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my herbs here. And our cheese. Hey guys, we're back and I am ready to get this French bread going, because I don't know about you, but My mama used to always make bread, and oh my gosh, I just could not wait to have some of that bread. So we're gonna get started. And I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly flour this. Now this still might be sticky. I'm gonna make 3 smaller loaves, and then we're just gonna get this rolled out. And I'm gonna take some of my herb mixture. Now I am just going to roll it up. And as I'm rolling, I'm kind of pulling and stretching. Now I don't have any fancy pans or anything like that. All right, so I went ahead and made 3 little loaves because I was making it a cheesy garlic bread. And you could go ahead and make just 2 loaves if you wanted to. Now I'm just going to go ahead and score this. Now you could lightly spray your loaves with water because it helps give it a better crust and texture to your French bread. But honestly, I just put a pan of water into the oven. And also, when you go ahead and spray your loaf of French bread here with water, sometimes it's a little bit easier to score your loaves. So just remember that when you go to make loaves of bread. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and let this rest for just a few more minutes, probably about 15 minutes, and then we're going to stick it in the oven. So our loaves have been resting for about 10 or 15 minutes now, and I just filled this pan with water, just like about a ½ inch or so, and I'm going to put this in the bottom of my oven. Now I'm going to put these in, and they're going to bake until at least doubled or until lightly golden brown. And they're going to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. So we'll see you back then. I can't wait to try this because I have all my herbs in there from the garden and a bunch of cheese in there, and it's going to be super delicious with some homemade moose chili. And I did have to let them bake for 25 to 30 minutes, a little less than I do the bigger loaves. So you will just have to adjust your timing on the bigger loaves to probably maybe 35 to 40 minutes. So hopefully you guys will try this, and don't forget to put some comments in there so I know that you've tried it and you love it. Because the thing with the potato sourdough starter is it does have a different flavor, and the flavor is just amazing, and you will just love it, I know. So anyways, don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. Bye now.